let's be honest. The most dangerous car in the market is not always the fastest one, not always the most luxurious one, and definitely not always the one wearing the biggest badge. Sometimes, the most dangerous car is the one that shows up looking this sharp, packed with this much kit, and priced low enough to make the big brands seriously uncomfortable. Because if this really is where the budget SUV market is heading, some very famous names should be worried. Welcome back to Accent Auto, and today we're looking at the 2027 BYD Dolphin Sport, a bold new compact SUV that doesn't just want to be affordable, it wants to become the next nightmare for the established brands. Let's talk about design. This thing does not look cheap, and that matters, because in this part of the market, the biggest mistake many affordable SUVs make is looking affordable. At the front, the first thing that grabs you is the grille treatment. It's wide, upright, layered, and visually dominant. You've got these strong horizontal bars stretching across the face, finished in gloss black with metallic highlights, and that gives the whole front end a much more premium and expensive identity than people might expect from a budget-focused SUV. It feels confident. They're slim, sharp, and properly modern, with a clean LED signature that gives the front end a technical, high-end look. The internal detailing adds structure, and the way the lamps connect visually into the upper grille trim makes the whole face look wider and more planted. Lower down, the bumper design adds a much more aggressive edge. You've got those vertical lighting elements in the outer corners, dark intake-style trim, gloss black lower surfaces, and small red accents that give it just enough sportiness without going full fake performance nonsense. It looks sporty, but still believable. Now move to the side, and the Dolphin Sport continues to do something very important. It keeps the design simple, but not boring. The profile is clean and well-proportioned. You've got a strong shoulder line, good body height, decent visual length, and a greenhouse shape that makes the car feel practical without looking boxy. And the rooftop treatment is another strong point. That panoramic glass roof instantly adds a more premium vibe, while the contrasting roof rails make the car look more adventure-ready and more complete. Then there are the wheels, and honestly, these help the car massively. Large multi-spoke alloys with a sporty machined finish, dark inner surfaces, and a premium visual style that gives the car far more road presence than many so-called mainstream family SUVs. Now at the rear, the design stays sharp and surprisingly dramatic. The full-width tail lamp treatment gives it a much more modern EV-era identity, while the outer lamp graphics help the car look wider and more technical. And a roof spoiler that adds a bit more aggression to the overall silhouette. You've got layered black trim, red highlights, a sporty diffuser-style lower section, and exhaust-style elements that visually push it into that sport SUV territory. Whether you love that or not, one thing is clear. BYD did not want this car to look timid. So overall, from grille to roofline, this does not feel like a cheap EV pretending to be premium. It feels like a budget SUV designed specifically to make the big brands uncomfortable, and that is exactly why it matters. Step inside, and this is where the Dolphin Sport starts making a very serious point. Because this cabin does not look like it was designed to feel cheap. It looks like it was designed to impress. Right away, the dashboard stands out with that wide digital display layout. It stretches cleanly across the cabin and instantly gives the interior a more futuristic, more expensive atmosphere. Then you notice the details. The layered dashboard, the ambient lighting, the dark trim, the metallic accents. All of it works together to make this interior feel far more premium than many affordable SUVs have any right to. And importantly, it doesn't feel gimmicky. It feels clean, usable, and properly thought through. The steering wheel looks modern and well integrated, the center console feels solid and practical, and the gear selector and switch layout give the cabin a more mature, more upmarket character. Then look at the seats. The black and red upholstery gives the interior real visual energy, while the shape of the front seats looks supportive enough for longer drives and comfortable enough for everyday use. In the back, things stay just as convincing. The rear bench looks properly usable, with decent space, good headroom, and enough openness to feel family-friendly rather than cramped. And with that panoramic glass roof above, the whole cabin feels lighter, airier, and more premium. So inside, the Dolphin Sport doesn't just feel like basic transport, it feels like a budget SUV that's trying to embarrass more expensive rivals. Now performance is where this car becomes very interesting. Because if BYD positions this the way many buyers are hoping, then the real story won't just be outright speed. It'll be usable EV performance at an accessible price. That means sharp low-speed response, strong instant torque delivery, smooth urban acceleration, and enough punch to make many entry-level petrol SUVs feel old-fashioned. And if the power and torque figures land where buyers expect, this could easily feel quicker off the line than several bigger brand rivals in the same money bracket. That's the real threat. On the road, this kind of SUV should make the most sense where real people actually drive. In town, on busy roads, through daily traffic, and on the motorway. Because the upright seating position, good visibility, instant EV response, and compact SUV proportions should make it feel easy to place and easy to live with. That's important. A car like this does not need to be a track hero. It needs to be calm, refined, and effortless in normal use. And judging by the design focus here, that seems to be the mission. The wheel and tire setup should also help give it a planted stance, while the cabin design suggests BYD is targeting that modern, quiet EV experience buyers now expect. Smooth delivery, low vibration, and relaxed cruising manners. So the real appeal here is not drama. It's everyday comfort with enough style and enough instant shove to make the drive feel more premium than the price suggests. And for a lot of buyers, that is exactly the sweet spot. Now let's talk about the real weapon, price. Because the biggest question around the Dolphin Sport is simple. Is this just a cheap EV? Or is it the next nightmare for the big brands? If BYD brings this in aggressively, with the kind of pricing strategy they're becoming known for, then yes, this could be one of those cars that makes legacy manufacturers panic. Why? Because buyers will start asking dangerous questions. Why am I paying more for less technology, less design impact, and a badge that no longer automatically justifies the premium? And then there's after sales. If BYD keeps improving dealer reach, service confidence, warranty trust, and parts support, that old excuse of "but I'll stick with the traditional brand" starts getting weaker. Fast. So who is this SUV really for? This is for buyers who want EV ownership without premium brand pricing, for families who want modern design, strong road presence, and useful practicality, and for people who are no longer impressed just because a big badge says they should be. Head-to-head, this kind of car should worry entry-level electric and hybrid SUVs from mainstream brands most of all. Because if it undercuts them on price while matching or beating them on visual impact, cabin tech, and perceived value, that is not a small problem. That is market disruption. So, the 2027 BYD Dolphin Sport might arrive wearing a budget-friendly identity. But visually, it is aiming much higher than that. And that is why this car matters. Because when an affordable EV starts looking this bold, this well-equipped, and this complete, the question is no longer whether BYD belongs in the conversation. The real question is, how long can the big brands keep pretending they're not under pressure? Let me know in the comments, cheap EV or big brand next nightmare. And as always, welcome to Accent Auto.